Hey guys, how you all doing today? Happy Monday. Welcome to another Marketers Club, or your first if you're new here. If you guys can hear me and see me okay, feel free to drop a note in the chat box. Just say hi. You can say hi to just me or to everybody, up to you. If you want to say something to just me, change the drop down in the chat box to all panelists. I'm the only panelist. If you want to say hi to everybody or send a question to everybody, it's all panelists and attendees. But yeah, drop in, say hi. If it's your first time here, if you just say first time in the chat box too, I'm almost curious who's here for the first time. We can dig in here, get my chat box opened up. Let's see, who do we got today? Casey's here. We just talked earlier. Cool. Nice to see you again, Casey. Mariola's here. Always good to see you in here. Kenna, Meredith, Thomas, Robert's here. Jerry. Who else we got? Anthony, Devin, Susan, Bridget, Shona, Meredith, John. Got a whole bunch of people here already. Awesome, guys. We got a couple of you guys coming back. That's a good thing. I know some of you guys are regulars. You've been with me from the beginning, but those of you that are here for the second or third time, welcome back. Kathleen, good to see you in here. Jerry, I see you in here. Sharon, first timer, welcome. Who else we got? Nuno, good to see you in here. Elizabeth, good to see you in here. I hope you're doing well. Brenda, always good to see you in here too. Awesome, guys. So this is something I went and did this weekend. Actually, my wife cut my hair this weekend, so we shaved my entire head off. I used to do this all the time there was this childhood cancer thing that I used to go to all the time because I'm a childhood cancer survivor, but there was a little event that I went to every single summer where I would shave my head and it was like people would donate to do it. And I haven't done that in several years now because I moved to a different state. But I was just thinking, time to shake things up and let's do things a little bit differently. So over the weekend, I shaved all of my hair off while I had my wife do it. So I'm completely bald now, more so than usual. But I'm wearing a hat today just because I'm kind of breaking it in. But once I do something like this, I always get people that are like, at least you have a nice shaped head. I don't really know what that means, but like it's definitely different, right? I feel like this lighting here, it like reflects off of my head even more than normal. But yeah, I wanted to do things differently, just kind of switch things up a little bit, push myself out of my comfort zone too, because this is another thing. Like I don't really pay attention to how I look all that often, but I know when I do something like completely shave my head, I get a lot more looks, a lot more attention, which is interesting. There's actually psychological studies around this. Obviously, I've looked into it. But for me, I didn't do it for the psychology. It was more just to push myself out of my comfort zone, to do something different and make myself a little uncomfortable. Because, how else do you grow, right? So yeah, don't get too distracted by my very bright white head. It's had hair on it up until yesterday. So now that we're all distracted, we're all on the same page here. I do have a fun little teaching all about ideal clients, uncovering your ideal client, identifying it, finding them, all of that good stuff. I was actually going to talk about choosing a niche today, but I think choosing an ideal client is more important. So that's what I wanted to focus on. Okay, so my teaching today that I wanted to go through with you guys is about your ideal client. And it's basically, how many of you guys feel like you have your ideal client completely figured out. Like you've narrowed down who your audience is, what they're looking for, how to speak their language, all of that stuff. Got a couple people. I feel like most of us probably haven't. Or it's something that's always in the works. Like for me, it's something I'm always evolving. So there's the biggest reason why I suggest this, first of all, is because you need to be able to appeal emotionally to people. And if you can't speak their language, or if you can't identify who they are, first of all, it's really difficult to get specific enough so that these people will actually know you, like you, or trust you enough to buy something from you. Because everybody talks about this KLT factor, the know, like, and trust factor that you need in order for somebody to want to buy from you. But there's different levels to that, right? If you think about it, like you don't have to know somebody really well. If you're like, let's say, these don't exist anymore, but if you were going to like rent a movie at a store or something like that, or even just buy a movie, let's say it's something not very expensive, and you're looking at movies, there's somebody in the aisle next to you and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, get that one, it's really good, I saw it with my significant other or my friend and they really enjoyed it, or whatever, you know. If it's a cheaper product, you don't need that same level of connection, right? And what we're talking about is an emotional connection in reality. It's not just a simple, hey, I met this person once and they suggested this to me. You need to appeal to people on an emotional level, because we only buy through emotion. Doesn't matter how emotional you are, how forward you are with expressing your emotions, we all, as human beings, buy based on emotion. So when you're trying to appeal to people on emotional levels, you need to speak of something that's deeper than the materialistic truths that we all know. Okay. So for example, when you're going through the business plan in day 5, most people that I talk to after going through the 15-day challenge think they're focusing on the wealth niche or the make money online niche or whatever, which is fine, but you need to still connect to people on an emotional level. It can't just be like, hey, do you want to generate more money? Do you want more free time? Do you want control of your schedule? Because that doesn't mean anything, right? There's no emotional charge to that. If that makes sense to you guys. Everybody wants to generate more money without having to work hard for it. Everybody wants to live comfortably in retirement. Everybody wants to deal with truthful, optimistic, and non-salesy people. Everybody wants more free time. They want to spend it with friends and family, whatever. Everybody's afraid of being worse off than they are now. And pretty much everybody has at least thought of other ways to generate additional income, right? Yes, it's all relevant. I'm not saying it's not true, but there's no emotional charge or connection to that. So with your ideal client, you need to get deeper. How is your message to your audience different from everyone else just pushing these broad blanket style benefits of more time and money? Okay, after a while, it just sounds like white noise. Like for me, I hear people starting with that crap and I just tune it out immediately. They would never be able to sell to me with any of that messaging. It just doesn't work. So what I want you to think of, if your audience had more time or more money or whatever you're pitching, what would they do with it? Like, what's their underlying desire? Right? Why is, like, if they had more time or money, why is that important to them? Why is it so important to them that they would invest the time or the money that they have a limited amount of to create this new lifestyle? And this just comes from knowing your audience. You can't really pick specifics in there if you don't know who you're talking to. Does this make sense to everybody? So this is going to be one of the most fundamental aspects of your marketing. And typically, if you are doing promotions, if you're posting online and you're still not getting the results that you want, it's because you missed something. Back to the basics, like identifying your ideal client. We had a meeting today for Legendary. We do our team meetings every Monday, and the big message for today was back to the basics. It was mostly for advisors and customer service. I'm kind of on a lonely island when it comes to Legendary staff. I'm the only one doing what I do. Matt's the closest to me, but he's even in a different position. But usually if you're missing something in your business, if you're not getting the results that you want, even though you're doing the work, it is because you're missing something basic. And from my experience, after coaching 3,000 plus people, 90% of the time it's your client. You haven't specifically identified who you want to talk to, which is throwing everything off after that, because you can't create compelling messaging if you don't know who you're talking to, right? So without this knowledge of your ideal client, you won't know how to write your content in a way that's attractive to those clients. You won't be able to tailor your products or your services to meet their needs, or your promotions of that product or service if you're doing affiliate marketing. And when I talk about content here, I mean pretty much everything that you're developing for your clients or potential clients to draw them to you and help you solve their problems that they're facing every day. So it's anything you're posting on social media, it's your paid advertising, it's your emails, it's everything. And once you know who your clients are, your client attraction efforts will become so much more effective, just infinitely more effective, because you'll be able to pinpoint what these people want, what challenges they have, where they're looking for information, what trends and mindsets influence the way they search for products, all of those good things. And you'll just get better results for the same amount of work, basically. So usually about this time, when I start getting into, hey, you need an ideal client, there's always somebody that asks me why, or they have an excuse as to why they don't need an ideal client. So I want to talk about that really quickly here. There are some businesses that avoid having ideal clients, okay? Some of the reasons may seem sound originally, but they're based largely off of misconceptions about what clients want and how client attraction works. Because it's people. We're in the people business, guys. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to connect with people, okay? So the two main reasons that I hear, reason number one, people are afraid of driving away clients, right? They don't want to limit who they can sell to. So if you could potentially target a wide range of different demographics, why would you want to alienate some of them by narrowing down your niche? That is a question that I get a lot. And really, it's a fear that many business owners have when they first start, especially when you're identifying an ideal client. You believe that the wider the net you cast, the more clients you'll draw in, right? But in order to appeal to an audience that large, you have to be incredibly broad and incredibly vague in your messaging, which is just not compelling at all. It's either going to sound like spam or it's going to sound like you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Neither one of those are engaging. Neither one of those are compelling. And it's hard to personalize that approach. So personalization in that case, it's going to be way more effective. You have to go narrow in order to go broad, if that makes any sense to you guys. So like affiliate marketing, everybody could use, or digital marketing in general, like Legendary Marketers, digital marketing education, not just affiliate marketing. But you can't just go out and be like, hey, want to learn digital marketing? Because then I mean, some people, yes, will be interested in it, but in order to really connect, you need to take it a step further and you need to show people based on their own lives. How will this make a difference for them? What can they improve? What can they do differently? How will they get more free time, more money, more whatever they're after, more time with their family, more time to travel? I don't know, the ability to buy a bigger house. It's whatever these people specifically want. Everybody has different goals. Not everybody wants the same thing. So that's something to pay attention to here. In order to really sell something, you need to narrow it down. Reason number two. So yeah, reason number two. I'm not going to do any more on this first one here. Your product could be used by anyone. I was just starting to get into this anyway. So some businesses could, in theory, serve almost any client under the sun, right? I always use life coaches as an example here. If there's a life coach who teaches universal success principles that apply to anyone, it's difficult for them to narrow it down. Chiropractors who can work on anybody that has a spine, right? Businesses that sell food are examples of another ones, like people need to eat, right? So you can have a very broad audience with any one of those. And if it's difficult for people to figure out why you would want to narrow it down, and it all comes down to the messaging. So without an ideal client, I do have a couple things. I can actually go through these with you guys. I'll write them out. Let's do that. I'll pull up a share screen here and we can take some notes. Okay. Let's make that bigger text. Okay, so I'm just going to drag that across the whole screen here. We'll start with these excuses to avoid narrowing down your ideal clients. And I gave you two. Okay, I'm gonna move this share box out of the way. Can't see what I'm typing. So either of those, which we kind of dispelled already, but I am going to go into this in more detail now. So why would not having an ideal client cost you? Okay. And if you're taking notes, I have 4 items in here. I took a ton of notes for today. It's like 7 pages of notes over here. We're definitely not going to get through all this, but we can start. So these are 4 little truths about client attraction that I just wanted to go through with you guys. That should help kind of put your mind at ease as to why we want to narrow things down. So number 1, this one is what I call uncommon sense. I use that phrase a lot, but it makes sense when you hear it. It's just not something that you may not think of by yourself. What's attractive to one client won't be attractive to others. Pretty straightforward. Okay, nothing special here. That's something that, I mean, everybody has a different opinion, right? Or a different idea of what they want to do with their lives. But that's basically what this is. People are most inclined to make a purchase when your marketing speaks to their exact challenges and needs. Okay. That's what it comes down to. I actually typed that sentence out exactly and I like it. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. There we go. People are the most inclined to make a purchase when your marketing speaks directly to their challenges and needs. And that's really what people will do, is they'll look at your offer and they'll think to themselves, yes, that is exactly what I need. It's like that product was made for me. Has anybody ever thought that before when you guys were looking through ads or something online and it just like really resonated with you? Not some of it. You don't want to be like, yeah, some of this looks good, but a lot of it just doesn't apply to me. But some of it just doesn't apply to me. 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 Some of it just doesn't apply to I'm talking about when you're looking and you're like, yes, this is exactly what I want, what I need, what I've been looking for. Can you think of anything specific about that messaging that resonated with you? Was it specific? Right? Think about it. Go back, and even if you want to go back and look at it, there's a lot of different offers out there. We see thousands of offers every single day, but most people are not speaking directly to you. If you try to create and sell offerings that are meant to apply to everyone, there's a good chance that they'll be partly applicable to everyone, but not ideal for anyone. Okay, so your clients will look at it and they'll think, yeah, some of that's good, some of that might apply to me, but a lot of it doesn't. And they're not going to buy then. If someone's motivated enough that they're looking, like actively looking to buy, the chances are good that they're looking for something specific. Okay. An offer that's only a partial match or that seems to be designed with a different demographic in mind is going to get looked over. Okay. So one excellent example of this that I've heard a few times is like with a pharmacy. If you try to sell an everything pill, will anybody trust it enough to buy it? Probably not, right? And even if they did, there's a good chance that they wouldn't think to look for it in the first place. So even if they were a good match, they're probably not looking for something like that. So they may just like kind of look right over it anyway. So like people have these specific things. When you go to a pharmacy or whatever, I don't take any medicine, so this doesn't apply to me, but I thought it was a good example anyway. If you have a headache, the chances are good you're looking for something to treat headaches, like a pill or whatever. Now, unless you are already aware of this everything pill before you began searching, it wouldn't even occur for you to look to something like that, right? You could walk right past it. It wouldn't even register. And that's because of your reticular activating system, a part of your brain that filters your external reality so you don't become overwhelmed. It's actually just you're seeing it, but it's not registering because it's not something that you need or that you're looking for. You're looking for something to help your headaches, not something to help everything, right? Does that make sense to you guys? So when you know exactly who your clients are and what they need, what they struggle with, you'll be able to create products and marketing materials that are exactly what they're looking for. You'll learn their language, phrase your marketing in ways that appeal strongly to them. And then they won't look over it or miss it anymore. They'll see it and it'll speak directly to them and they're going to get excited and they're going to buy. So the everything pill. It's always my example for that. Okay, number 2. I'm not going to take any other notes for that one. Number 2 is you don't want to waste your time and budget on people who are less inclined to buy. Anybody else suffering from this one or experiencing this one? I'm sure we all feel that way, right? But here's the thing. You think you're narrowing it down by choosing a more specific audience, right? You think you're limiting yourself. You're afraid of driving clients away. But your ideal clients aren't the only people who will buy from you. They're the people who are most likely to make a purchase based on your messaging, but they're not the only ones. Okay, I want to give you another analogy here. If you were fishing, would you cast a line or drop a net repeatedly in random parts of the water, or would you specifically target the areas where you'd likely catch the most fish? Pretty self-explanatory, right? You're going to look for places where you think fish are hiding or hanging out, and you'll go there. Would you use bait or a lure that's good for all kinds of fish, or the ones that will attract the specific type of fish you're looking to catch? Same thing, right? You're not going to use like deep sea fish hooks and chum to go fishing in a lake for pickerel or sunfish or something like that. Just doesn't make any sense. So the same principle applies to your marketing. You'll never have the time and budget to reach all the possible demographics at once. So you should spend that time and money on the demographics that need and want your product the most, and that's the most likely to make a purchase. Does that make sense to you guys? It's another reason to narrow down your audience. Instead of trying to talk to everybody, trying to appeal to everybody, do some targeting. Pick your bait, find where your audience is hiding, drop the line. So there are some of these, the demographics are going to be self-explanatory based on the product. If it's something that appeals to everybody, like digital marketing education, everybody could benefit from that, or like life coaching or being a chiropractor or whatever, like the other examples I mentioned. You define your audience. You get to choose who are the people that you want to work with, that you want to help, that you can resonate or connect with the best. That's it. And you literally just make it up. I want to work with 20 to 40-year-old males, not married, have a dog, own a house, whatever. Like, just make it up. There's no set parameters. There's no like go-to chart that tells you, oh, you're promoting this, promote to these people. Because you can sell it to anybody. It all comes down to your messaging. But the only way to narrow down your messaging is to define your audience first. If you're not sure how to choose your ideal client, I can help you guys narrow that down a little bit. I've got 4 steps once we get through these. So I'll do these quick and then we can jump into that. So number 3 here is you don't want to attract every type of client. Not every client's a good one. We all know this, especially if you're selling services as opposed to products. But even if you're selling products, you still, I'm sure, have people that are good versus not good. Now, if you're going to have to spend any amount of time with a client, you don't want to attract the kind of people who are lukewarm about your services or who will drag their feet, complain, nitpick, make unreasonable demands, hamper your efforts or inhibit your ability to do your job. Maybe they're impossible to please. You don't want people like that, right? You also don't want to attract people who aren't able to get the full benefit from your offering. So if something outside of your control will prevent you from getting good results for them, then enrolling them despite that will only result in frustration for you and for them. And then it's possibly bad reviews from that person. So you don't want to do that. Okay. It's still possible you will get clients you don't want. Yeah, absolutely. You still, like, you can't completely control that. You can put your messaging out there to attract or to like appeal to a specific type of person, but just think back to this fishing analogy we just did a couple minutes ago. Let's say you choose a specific like worms that are for your whatever you're trying to catch. You're using the right size hook or the right lure or whatever, and you drop it in the water. It's possible another fish could bite it, right? It doesn't mean it's only going to be the fish that you're trying to attract. Any fish could still bite it. So you could still get clients from anywhere, from everywhere. It's just a matter of creating messaging that's more specific so that it's designed to attract a specific type of audience. Just because you aren't targeting someone doesn't mean they won't come, right? So even if you're targeting, let's say, 6-figure business owners because they're the most likely to be able to afford your offering, That doesn't mean that 5-figure business owners who really resonate with you and need your product won't scrape together the funds and enter your program, right? People who primarily target one gender or age group sometimes attract members of others. Dr. Devia is in here. She's got a networking group called Ladies Power Lunch that I'm a member of. I'm not a lady. But it happens, right? If someone is really a fit for your business, the fact that your marketing is tailored to another group won't stop them from coming to you. Does that make sense to everybody? If someone is really a fit for your business, the fact that your marketing is tailored to another group won't stop them from coming to you. Having an ideal client isn't about driving away clients who are a good fit. Okay? It's about making yourself more attractive to the people who need you the most. Don't think of it as driving anybody away. Think of it as something to attract a more specific audience. You can still work with everybody, but in order to attract anybody, you need to be more specific in your messaging. Okay, if anybody wants to take screenshots really quick, or notes or whatever, I'm gonna clear this so that we can jump on to help you guys get some criteria in place to help select or narrow down your ideal client. Cool. So next question. What if I'm not sure how to choose my ideal client? What do you do? I've got 4 quick criteria here for you guys. Okay, number 1. Who do you understand the most? Kind of a loaded question, but who do you understand the most? Whose challenges, desires, mindsets, habits, needs, fears, limitations, who do you understand the most? Who do you relate to the most strongly, and who can relate to you? Because the more you can understand about your client, the better you can serve them. And the more they'll really connect with and trust you. So when I say, who do you understand the most, that's really what I'm asking. It's a very loaded question there. So it's like, who do you resonate with, right? Who just really connects with and vibes with you? Like every time you talk, you speak the same language, you understand what the other is saying, you complete each other's sentences or whatever. You just really know these people. That's what you want to start with. Number 2. Wrong word. This is more specific to people in a service industry, but it also applies to all of you guys. Who do you enjoy working with the most? Okay, when you enjoy working with someone, it will show. That energy will come across to people. It will show in your attitude, your energy, the quality of your work, the attention that you're paying. It will also affect your personal well-being and your ability to be happy while you're doing business. If you're working with somebody you really don't like, you're going to feel like they're just draining the energy or the fun out of the room. Maybe you guys have jobs like this, or you've worked with people like this, where it's somebody that you don't resonate with, that you just don't enjoy working with, and you feel like they're just kind of sucking the joy out of it. Think about, who do you enjoy working with? Who are the people that you want to have more conversations with? Who are the people that you want to answer questions for? Who are the people whose problems you want to solve? It's helpful to know who you enjoy working with so you can attract more of those people, okay? It doesn't have to be just like you, but these are the criteria that you want to go through to choose your ideal client. If you're like passionate about helping specific people, that's going to help you get to work every day. You're going to be excited to talk to those people, to answer their questions, and to help them change their lives. Otherwise, you're going to be like, meh, it's another day at work. I hope I make more money today. You know, there's just like less energy, less excitement, and it comes across too. Who needs everything you have to offer? If you specialize in offering a complete solution to a problem, you don't want to focus your marketing on people who only need one or two components. Okay, you can, but you usually don't want to. You want people who can get the full value out of the most robust offering and who are willing to pay you as much as it's worth. Okay, you don't want people who are just gonna like nitpick or want bits and pieces of what you have to offer, either your product or your service. You want somebody who wants all of it and who could use all of it, who can benefit from all of it. You want people who will get the most out of your product service and are willing to pay for what it's worth. Boom. Number 4, who is strongly aware of their need, their need for your offering and is ready to act on it. Now, this is the piece where we're kind of thinking about customer journey, right? Even if everyone needs or can benefit from your product, it's still best to focus your marketing on the people who are aware of that need and are prepared to invest in it. Let's say you're promoting digital marketing education, right? If it's somebody who is working a day job, but they love it, they think they're paid well, they get along really well with their boss and their coworkers, they're excited to go to work every day, they're not looking for something like this, right? They're just not even aware that it's an option because it's not necessary for them. And they're not going to buy it. It doesn't matter how well you promote it. Even if you were targeting people who are in their day jobs and you're talking about, hey, leaving your day job, work whenever you want to, spend more time with your family or your friends or your pets or at home or traveling, these people don't care. Right? They're not ready to act on that because that's not a pressing concern for them. Let me give you another example here. Dog training. Let's say you're promoting brain training for dogs online. You're targeting people who have dogs. Yeah. So I have dogs. I have 3 dogs at home. I don't have a need for dog training, though. My reason is because I was a canine handler. I was a service dog trainer. I know how to train my dogs. My dogs are really well behaved. So who is strongly aware of their need for your offering and is ready to act on it? In those cases, I don't have a need, so I'm not ready to act. Does that make sense to everybody? Who's aware of their need and is ready to act on it? Because if they may have a need even, and they may not be aware that there's a solution for it. Right? Some of these people, I'm going to give you another example here. I was at the store the other day and I had one of my clients called me while I was there. And well, he didn't call me. He sent me, I use an app called Voxer to send and receive messages and files and stuff. So he sent me a voice message. I was listening to it as I was walking around the store and I replied to it. And somebody stopped me as I was walking by them and they were asking me questions about what I do for a living because they overheard the conversation. They were intrigued a little bit. And I mentioned how I work online. I have an online business and I do business coaching and whatever. And their question was not, how do I learn to do what you do? Or how do I work with you? Or can you teach me? It's, can I work for you? They wanted a job from me. Okay. So that comes down to awareness again. Who is aware of their need for your offering? So this person, I could have mentioned that I would train him or teach him or whatever, or you can make your own money online. You don't need to work for my business. You can start your own. But that never even crossed his mind. It wasn't even an option. That's not even something they were aware of, right? So they weren't ready to act on that. Okay, I wasn't going to be able to sell that person. I knew it right away because they're just in a very different mind space. Their awareness was on a different level. They're not even aware of this opportunity or to ask about this type of opportunity, right? So who's aware of their need for your offering and are they ready to act on it? Not just have a need, they need to be aware of it. And a lot of these people don't, it's in that same position where you don't know what you don't know. If that makes sense to you guys. So when you're first looking for this type of opportunity, do you know what the best autoresponder is? Do you know what the best funnel builder is? Do you know what the best tracking software is? Do you know how to generate traffic? Or does none of that shit matter because you're not even aware that that is the next step of the process? And you're just like, hey, how do I make money online? So if you're targeting beginners, speak to the beginners, right? Speak to their level of awareness. What do they know exists and what are they looking to solve? It's probably not even the real problem. It's usually not. I actually had a framework, which I'm going to show you guys. This is a coaching framework, so it's not really relevant to right now, but I called it the PSP framework. This is what the PSP framework means. So the P, the first P here is the problem that people think they have. So I speak and I identify, this is your problem. Well, it's what they perceive as the problem or think is the problem. Then you provide the solution to the perceived problem. So you solve the problem that these people think they have, okay? You're like, hey, you think you have this problem. Here's how you would solve that problem. But in reality, it's not going to give you the results you're looking for because there's another problem that you're not aware of yet. That's the real problem. Problem that people think they have. Speak directly to that problem, identify it, use their words to describe it, give them the solution to that perceived problem. Solve the problem that they think they have. And then you can tell them that's not actually the real problem. The real problem is something else entirely. It's this thing over here. And if you want to solve this problem, you're going to have to download my course, sign up for a coaching call, subscribe to this list, whatever. PSP framework. This has been used for a long time, but it's usually something that they don't share. This is like one of those psychologically embedded things that we all find in our ad copy or in our marketing messaging, and we don't really realize that it's there. Perfect, guys. So does anybody else have any last minute questions for today? Anything else I can do for you guys before I let you go? Not seeing anything quick. So if anybody needs me for anything, you want to send me an email, so I'll look through your funnel or test something out for you or help with tech stuff or review your Facebook ads, anything like that, shoot me over an email. It's my first name, Drew, D-R-E-W @legendarymarketer.com. Happy to help you guys out. Otherwise, stay legendary. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you all next Monday.